Alrighty, hello everybody. Today I want to talk about disc viability in 7.2. So now while there were no direct changes to the Discipline Priest through their spells and talents, Discipline Priest actually got a very big buff coming to 7.2, and that was mainly due to our artifact trait. Our Paragon traits. So our Paragon got increased to 15% through these two traits here, and that's up from 11.4, 11.6. So it got increased to 15%. If we look at that relative to other healers got increased from 14.5 to 15. So we got a much bigger buff than all the other healers did. The other huge thing about this is that it now affects absorbs. It didn't affect absorbs before. So again, it is a massive buff to the Disc Priest, but when we're looking at Disc Priest relative to other healers, this should be a very significant buff. Now, if we look at the new artifact traits we're getting, the Legendaries reward. Now, this tooltip now says it's 0.7%. Yesterday it was 0.6. The day before it was 0.5. So I'm not actually sure what's going on with this tooltip. But, whatever it is, it's a very, very, very strong artifact trait. So currently giving 0.7, giving 2.8% damage reduction for having Atonement on the target. That is pretty massive. So very, very, very good trait here. We also get more 3 of 3s. While most of our 3 of 3s aren't too impactful, we get another 6% damage on penance, which correlates to quite a large amount of healing. I believe it's like 2% healing increase, this one trait. So that is a very, very big trait to pick up there. So for people who are unaware, the artifact path is once you get your Paragon, you get your 10% healing, you get your Confession trait, and then you're going to go up to your Gold Dragon. And then you get the Purge of the Wicked damage, and then Rapture, and then Powered Shield, and then you fill out the rest. So the new artifact traits we're getting are very, very strong. Compared to some of the other healers, they're stronger. Compared to some, they're weaker. But they're pretty good in general. There's nothing to be sad about. Our artifact new traits are very good. One other thing that's kind of changed with the new artifact trait system is that now we're getting more scaling damage per level. So as we get up to 50, our damage is going to increase pretty significantly, which is always good to see, because if you compare it to a DPS won't be getting that passive damage. So every level we're going to be getting more damage, which is good for us, because we're going to get more damage. It doesn't correlate to more healing, but it is just more damage, so our niche of being a damaging healer remains relevant. So the other big change coming to 7.2 is our tier set. So new tier set, increased damage on the first tick of penance by 200%. This is huge. And then the 4-piece is Powered Shield has a 25% chance to make your next penance free and have 50% reduced cooldown. So more penances, more mana saving, and stronger penances. Amazing tier set for the spec. This is definitely one of the stronger tier sets. And if we're looking at Disc Priest at the moment with its tier set compared to other healers, our tier set really, really sucks in comparison to what the other healers have. In 7.2, our tier set is very, very strong. I think it's probably the strongest of all the healers. So what you're going to see then is, Disc Priest right now with a pretty terrible tier set is very competitive with the other healers at the moment. As we are going to be getting this new tier set, we're just going to become even stronger. So if you're looking at the viability of a Disc Priest, comparatively to other healers, it's only going to improve for the Disc Priest. We're going to see more damage, we're going to see more healing, we're going to see more mana saving. So lots of good things coming in for the Disc Priest. Some other minor things that have affected the Disc Priest 7.2 are stuff like Darkmoon Day Promises. Now you can have at 875, which is nice because this trinket is very, very strong for Disc because of our high casts per minute. Another thing is that 7th Spine is easier to get because the Mythic Plus dungeons now are actually easier than what they were before. And considering we've got more traits and whatnot, and the eye level has increased to 890. So if you want to be doing a plus 10 Black Rock Hold, that is actually a lot easier than what a plus 15 Black Rock Hold was in 7.1.5. With the new traits we're getting, they're going to become even easier. So farming out high item level things like Spine is just going to become much easier. Now it is anecdotal as well, but I do believe there is a higher chance for the gear to Titanforge as well. So, even if you are doing lower keys, chances are that you're going to get a high eye level spine is pretty high, relative to what it was before. Another kind of like up in the air pseudo thing is that we did get a few legendary buffs. Things like the wrist got 15% powered shield healing. Safar's got a buff. So now, while a lot of Disc Priest legendaries are pretty unimpactful, so you generally see a lot of Disc Priests running around with Safar's even though they don't really use it. Things like Prides is always pretty good, but because the majority of our legendaries kind of suck, buffs to these lower end ones where they have this kind of niche utility is very good, because if there is a dispel in something like Botanist, you're probably going to find as a Disc Priest you're the one who wants to be dispelling, and you're the one who wants to be wearing something like Safar's because you don't have high impact legendaries like other healers. So buffs to Safar's is a good thing. The braces are good. That's a solid HPS buff. And the last thing that I was going to kind of go over is now, obviously it wasn't addressed, which is kind of weird. Velens is still in the game for some fucking reason, and it's still brokenly fucking overpowered. But now we actually have a way of targeting Velens. So that is through the Nether Shards through the Broken Shore. So, as time goes on and we get more legendaries, you're gonna have more Disc Priests getting Velens, getting to the fucking overpowered state of having the stupidly broken trinket. So that should, you should see that Disc's average scores get higher and higher as people start to get more Velens compared to the other healers. So that is also a good sign for the Disc Priest. As you're approaching closer to getting your Velens, it should be easier to get, and you should be doing a lot better when you do get that Velens. So, just to wrap up, Disc Priest going forward in 7.2, amazing healer. I would say it's going to be in a stronger spot than it is currently in Nighthold, and even probably Emerald Nightmare. Just all rounds great buffs for Disc Priest. So, happy times. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.